Hey, it's Richard. I ended up doing my paper on outdoor recreational activity experiences improve psychological well-being of military veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder. It had positive findings of a pilot study and a randomized controlled trial. So the researchers were looking for alternative methods for treating military veterans with PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. Since it was a pilot study and the first of its kind, it would be considered experimental in nature. So besides known psychological methods of pharmaceuticals, group therapy, or one-on-one counseling, there are still new methods that are being devised today that would help bring some solace to these veterans in their daily lives. So outdoor activities have been utilized more since COVID, mainly because of being around people in a closed space raises the risk of contracting COVID. Even when wearing a mask, it has a lower risk factor, but it's still not zero. So outdoors in the open air environment relinquishes the need to wear a mask, and so the outdoor and open air environment relinquishes the need to wear a mask and is highly sought after if you are in a work or life environment that requires you to wear one daily. So in the study, a group of veterans participated in outdoor recreational and outdoor activities that had PTSD, depression, anxiety, and perceived stress. Increased participants' sense of general social functioning and psychological growth evaluated in surveys during their experience. So the type of recreation offered by professional instructors included horticulture, gardening or farming, sailing, fly fishing, surfing, hiking, snow sports, and delivered to a small group of veterans, ranging in duration from intensity of 2 days to once a week for 12 months. So the practical applications for those veterans that do have PTSD, rather than not doing anything and thinking about their terrible experiences again, might find some other kind of seclusion, a way to deal with coping with their disorder. So unfortunately, a lot of veterans go and just kind of get away from society in general, and this study would go and show that going on an outdoor adventure, brings some new experiences and hopefully overwrites that traumatic effects and events that they had in their lives that goes in a good direction. So spending time with fellow veterans also shares the same commonality. To bond with another human being is helpful. Most veterans like to bond with other veterans. It's just in our nature. So especially when it's good time, they can replace a bad one with like the good experience, as I previously mentioned. So although money can be a limiting factor at the veteran centers, practically any group of veterans can go out and do the same thing together. Laughing, talking to another veteran is a therapeutic among us, as I said, and even during between different branches, we still end up having that commonality together, and all to share a bond from the services and the sacrifices that we've given. So one limitation to this study that was mentioned, there was no control group. The researchers didn't want to leave out any potential veterans and alleviate their ailments. So they adjusted the groups so everybody, can participate. So if there's any potential consequences, saying to the veteran, with PTSD, they're like, oh, hey, sign up for this study, go on to a paid outdoor trip, right? And then when the experimental section, was made and, chosen, they're like, oh, you're in the control group. Sorry, I'm just kidding. That somebody with PTSD, they might end up having like an extreme seclusion for themselves to hurt themselves or others, and they just really didn't want to do that. So they had some empathy for the veterans, which was nice. Some recommendations I've thought for into the future. There's an endless number of activities that could be performed outdoors. Veterans with PTSD, can take part in new things, and they might find some other kind of enjoyment out of them. Having a good hobby or something the individual doesn't gravitate toward, negative thoughts or decreased perspective of, their life, and end up showing like they end up having some self-worth, is worth its weight in the psychological gold to some people, and potentially, PTSD veterans. Although some thoughts can be avoided, leaving the area, commonly that thoughts are driven up on, or especially just leaving the house in general it can be helpful. So my overall conclusion, I would like to say to researchers, I appreciate what they did for the veterans, and it sounds like it had it was a great trip, and I would like to go onto it, myself. PTSD research is still growing, and finding ways to circumvent negative thoughts or depressive symptoms, anxiety, and a host of other like psychological issues is a plus in my book. So being out in nature, is exciting because there's no two spaces of light. There's no two trees. There's no two leaves, bushes or anything else around you. So, hey, try to go out in nature for yourself, and you might be surprised how happy it makes you. But if you live in Florida, you may want to bring some bug spray, especially into the summer. It's a good thing I moved to California. Not really too many bugs out here. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.